show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Alright, so, yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.
Yeah, we got to start. Hello.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Welcome to Monday.
God, it's bright. Holy cow.
Today's a very serious day.
It's a very serious day.
We have lots of serious things happening.
Seriously.
Seriously?
Seriously. Yes. No adverbs, okay?
No
adverbs are not your friend. Didn't you read Stephen King's On Writing? Oh, my God.
Verbs.
Verbs.
Kids.
It. Maze.
Okay, you keep saying that. I don't know what it's from, and it's getting old being on the outside. I mean, it's like, it's, okay,
Grown-ups.
Native American name for corn. Thank you.
Grown-ups.
Maze.
It's from the movie Grown-ups.
Yeah, I heard that too, but I don't qualify.
The guy was one of the guys on that was the main characters was dating this older lady, and this older lady was Maze cures everything. It's amazing. So everybody going Maze. Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought you knew, man.
Amazing.
No, I had no idea. I'm completely out on it. I felt so excluded, and it's like, I mean, talk about just a litany of microaggressions against me.
That's what I'm just like, I'm outputting everybody lately.
Off-putting, not outputting.
No, I put
outputting
people
is
out.
what you do with the audio. Off-putting is what you do with people's to make them not like you.
See,
I'm off-putting right now. I'm putting you off.
No, you're not. I don't care.
Yes, I am.
I really don't care. Hey, good morning, everybody.
Oh, hi everybody. Yeah, welcome to our petty bickering on Monday morning.
Welcome to our pettiness. Enjoy.
Bicker. What'd you do this weekend?
Go to Adam. I don't remember.
Adam, what did you do this weekend?
I did stuff. I went horseback riding.
Really?
Yeah, spent
Really?
2
You
hours.
did. That's right. You went up to Ocala.
Yeah, I went up to Ocala.
Ocala?
Well, we
Went to
spent some
Ocala?
time at Ocala.
Ocala?
Yeah.
Yep.
And wow, that place is getting built up, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Holy
Oh,
cow.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
It's
massive.
It's like a college town now, you know?
Yeah, only without a college.
Without it.
Well, no,
they have
there's
a college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
you can call it
Rasmussen
that.
or something like that?
Well, that's not a college.
We,
That's an education of higher learning.
Education of higher
I think I
living.
meant establishment, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we went up. We spent the weekend in Ocala, and
Really?
we drove down to Inverness.
Did you stay at the
Horseback
Equus
riding.
Inn?
No.
There's a
I don't-
horse-themed hotel they
It's
have
not-
there.
Really?
I saw that,
on
but
200.
I don't think the hotels are open. Part is open yet.
At the Equus?
Yeah,
They're
new one.
open.
Is it?
You-
Well, I
yeah, they
tried
were
to-
open a year ago, but they may, I don't know if they've, I mean, they had just opened in November before all this went to Hell in a Handbasket. And so, yeah, we actually met them at a couple shows that we were doing up there. And so we happen to know the Equus Inn. You know. But
Yes. Well, it was.
but
fun.
you had good pizza.
We had great pizza thanks to Anthony.
Yes.
Anthony gave me a recommendation. Just so happened, got caught up in a conversation real quick.
Yep.
He caught me at the right time, and he made a recommendation.
He said, "Oh, you're in Ocala. Oh, it's coming up on dinner time.
"Well, we didn't have."
Try Blue Highway."
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
pizza was great, though.
Yeah, it really is. They
I was
they
really
make everything
surprised.
really really nicely.
Oh, yeah, even the
we
wings were
we
nice.
always have their tempeh barbecue tempeh pizza. It's just out of this world.
Yeah.
And so
It's out of this highway.
yeah, out of this highway.
Everything.
The only problem with Blue Highway is their logo is so complicated
Yeah.
that you can't actually see their sign as you're driving, along Main Street 40 looking for it. It's like, no, you just have to
Okay.
know what it's after.
Okay.
It was good food.
This is not technology, is it?
Well, I don't care.
I remembered what I
Actually,
did.
actually cooking a pizza, there's some tech behind that.
Yeah, there is. There certainly can be.
Right.
I made a Jedi robe yesterday. I remember I did that. I started on that
Attaboy.
project. That was fun. And got out the serger that I bought, 2 years ago and never used. It's an overlock machine, and had fun, tearing into that thing. That was brand new, and that's really low tech, high tech. When it's not, stringing off right. So
Right.
that was fun. But I got all that fixed and working, and got the basics of the robe done. So.
Attaboy.
That was good. And Saturday, I'm at a complete loss. Oh, I was up on the roof again.
Up on the rooftop.
I have roof issues. We have a flat area.
Are you trying
flat
to be
roof
the
area.
fiddler?
No, actually, I did leave my violin down in the studio,
Did you?
but I should have brought it up with me. You're absolutely correct. I need pictures now. Oh my
Now
God.
you gotta go get.
Now I got to get pictures. All right. So what did you do this weekend, John?
We filmed on Saturday for my
Filmed?
son's.
Oh.
My son's thing.
Ah, yes, you did.
And-
All the props are missing.
Yep. And then on Sunday we started clearing out a
Storage unit?
storage unit. So yeah, because my sister's dad died. So
Oh,
my sister from.
I'm sorry.
another mother.
I figured that.
But
well,
yeah,
probably
so-
from another father,
From
actually. Yeah, same mother, different father.
Yeah, so that was, and we barely made a dent.
Yeah.
There's going to be the best tag sale, or I know I keep calling them tag sales because there's
Yeah.
going to be the best yard sale ever. I mean, her dad
Yeah.
had everything,
Cool.
and he didn't have one of everything. He had multiples of everything. I mean, amazing. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's what.
So
I
that's what John did.
Yeah, so I'm actually very tired today. I'm wore out, to be honest with you. I hurt everywhere. My shoulders are killing me. My back's killing me, and I'm sunburned.
Your face is killing me.
Well, it is. It is ugly. It is what it is. Just remember, Mondays don't suck. Your attitude sucks.
Yeah, it's your
That's
fault.
great. It's just your fault. Get over it.
It's your fault. Mondays are awesome. Days are just days. It's how you treat the day.
It's the attitude you take in with you.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So I may be tired, but it's awesome Monday.
But we're here.
I love Mondays. It's Tech Shaman Mondays.
Yes.
So we're going to jump right into it.
Yep, go.
So the NASA
This is pretty
Perseverance
cool.
rover just turned Martian CO2 into oxygen.
That is, I mean, it's pretty amazing. They can
That's
make,
huge.
like in an hour, they can make enough oxygen for a human to breathe for 20 minutes. Okay, with this little toaster-sized device. So if you think about it, okay, yeah. I mean, you either got to get way ahead, or you got to have a bigger unit.
What is for?
No,
backpack?
we could have just
Does
sent.
that mean it could be a backpack?
You probably could, but you're going to die 40 minutes out of the hour.
No. I mean, so if the backpack is constantly generating
Right.
oxygen,
I just found it really funny that
yeah, but for every hour you're out there, you only have 20 minutes to live.
yeah, exactly.
no.
But the machine will-
No,
yeah.
it made 20 minutes worth of air, but if it's constantly running,
No, in 1 hour, it can make 20 minutes worth of air. That's the problem. But this is a small experimental unit.
John's
oh,
like,
the
okay.
little that's
which
the, you
which
gotta let the
also
little
has
shit go.
has to heat
Hold
up
your
to
breath for 15 minutes, folks. You can carry
1,450
two.
degrees.
Oh my!
Okay, in order to function. Now they're going to experiment with different temperature ranges to see if they can, bring that down, see what they can do with efficiency and productivity. But the fact of the matter is, we have for the first time in history now terraformed.
Yes.
Okay, we've gone in and we have done that. Now, also for the billionth time in history, we've gone in and made something much more complicated than it had to be, because all you really needed to do was bring a plant. If you want to turn CO2 into oxygen, bring a plant. I mean,
But it's got to survive. In
It
the
has to be able to survive the temperature.
Well, I say we just call Arnold, bring him up there. He goes.
Yeah, he'll just crack the dome and everything will be fine.
No, don't you remember about the ice on Total Recall? It's all under the planet. It's hidden by alien civilization, and next thing you know, we have an atmosphere.
Yeah, that's
on.
really all we got to do is
Yeah.
crack into that thing.
There was a movie. I'm trying to find it.
Okay,
Total Recall.
Red Planet. No, not Total Recall.
not Total Recall.
Total Recall.
I think it was Red Planet.
2 weeks. Yes.
It had Val Kilmer in it, where they had got
yeah.
the they made one of the polar. They created snow,
Right.
and then the snow turned the atmosphere into oxygen just in that area on.
Ah.
It was called Red Planet, and they had the little robot dog that would just trying to kill everybody.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Makes Boston Dynamics even more fun and
Right? I mean, how he played that right in, that was awesome. That was very good. Yep.
So,
Yeah. But that's
having
cool.
said all that,
It
that
is-
is very
it is
cool. I mean, yeah, really. Well, what they get into in the article you put up is that it means that we don't need to bring oxygen to Mars in order to take off from Mars. It's not just about being able to create it to breathe. It's that you need 55,000 pounds of oxygen as a fuel component in order to lift off and get up into space. Now, once you're up, I mean, it takes like almost nothing to keep a human alive for a year. It's like 1,000 pounds of oxygen is breathing for a human for a year. Excuse me, but the real issue is going to be being able to get off the ground again once you land,
Right.
without having to transport all that with you. And now there was a design quite a while ago, back in the mid '80s, where they simply were using a large dish with a special graphite coating on the inside, and they would just detonate nuclear warheads underneath it. Now, that does not require oxygen, but it served as a massive propulsion device. And so I don't know whatever happened with that technology. I think they probably tested it over Chernobyl, and that's where that came from. But that was kind of neat. And so you wouldn't need any oxygen to run that kind of a system. However, the damage you would leave behind you might not be the best.
I can't wait to get into Higgs boson with him, because that's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Actually, so, it's funny you say that. So we're going to jump down to, I think it's...
Elon.
Yeah, I'm on what I need to give him the number 11.
I'm on it.
Because, Elon has said that, Elon Musk on his Mars landing efforts, a bunch of people will probably die.
Yeah.
That's
truth in advertising right there.
And so I read it, and I'm like going, oh, he can't be serious. And I went down, and he literally said that.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap.
Well, there's
It's
people,
a fact.
Well, I mean, when we're trying to get to the moon in the beginning, we had people die.
Exactly.
and there's and not only that, some people,
The first airplane.
some people, they've lived their life, they've done everything in the world, they have all the money in the world, and they want that one last, thing that nobody else is going to do, and they'll go for it. And they'll
die on the way to Mars.
Yeah, they know what's going to happen. They know the outcome.
Yep.
So of course, and it's not going to stop people from wanting to go. I don't.
No, and and it's not just it's okay. So we came to the New World, okay, and did anybody die? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, from both sides, there were good people on both sides, and so we had that going on. Then we spread across the continent. Did anybody die? Yeah. Okay. Anywhere we've gone, anywhere we've explored. I mean, when you go back 25,000 years ago, and you look at the people crossing the Bering Strait, did any of them die?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell, did you stay home and have people just die?
Yep.
No, you can do
part
that
of
too,
life.
but
It's what you're doing in life
But at
before you
least,
die.
you die, binging Netflix.
Ah, well,
You can't do that on
true.
Mars, unless you downloaded everything before you left.
Could you imagine? Ah, jeez.
Well, I don't know. I can get like the whole season here of some good stuff on my phone, so I'm okay with that. I'll just download it.
How
I
long
just
is
need
radio
the new
transmissions
terabyte.
taking to get back?
It's not radio. You download it.
No, I know.
Before
but
you
mean,
go.
What if you have to get some more seasons? Can you watch
Well,
it?
no. You start when you get there. Watch everything you got, and by then you might have another episode
One
uploaded.
episode? Jeez. That would be hilarious. Imagine.
Yeah.
You're stuck halfway through this one episode. You forgot you didn't finish downloading that one. You're at that clencher. You're like, oh no.
Oh my.
Oh.
All right. So here's something.
All right.
That, if you read it, you're like, oh, who cares? But it's a big deal. I stopped yawning. Here you go. Okay, so Pentagon transferred 4% of all internet IPs. 4% of all internet IPs.
There are billions
On January
of
20th
IPs.
to shadowy company in Florida, right?
Yes. Nobody knows who they are. A little tiny
And it was
company,
worth
brand new, just started.
$4
Boom.
billion.
You're talking serious DARPA right here. What are they going to be doing with this? I mean, it's supposedly data analysis to track for
penetration,
hacking.
and also penetration testing and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like that sounds good, but this is pretty
This is-
incredible. I mean,
this is scary.
you could create. I mean, think about it. You could create 500 million websites. Okay, using automation that all talk about how absolutely fact-based and true your statements are. Mm-hmm. This could be the biggest PSYOPs operation in the history of ever.
Now, they keep saying it was unused. They were unused IPs.
Yeah.
But
I know. I've tried to buy a lot of unused IPs, and they just want to charge me out the wazoo
Right.
for them.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the worth on that was $4 billion.
Yeah. That's. I don't know
And this-
if
and look at
they're
this.
in the wholesaler program, or not. But
This mysterious firm is also in a shared workspace in Florida that was created by an international company.
Yeah, it's called Global Resource Systems LLC.
Global
Global.
resource.
And they're out of
systems.
Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Florida.
which is automatically suspicious.
And it's supposed to
just
be
because
a
Florida.
pilot.
I mean, hey, look, hang on a minute. When Godzilla made his appearance, where did he show up?
Japan.
No, in the new movie, Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I know. He showed up in Florida. It's the only place he hadn't destroyed yet.
Pretty much.
So he shows up in Pensacola, and he takes out what? A secret government research facility. They're trying to tell us something here. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Global dynamics, anyway. So,
Yep.
Oh, boy.
so you have an interesting topic today, and
yeah.
I have actually preached on this forever
Yeah.
because of the problems
I'm-
that you can have, right?
I'm just going to talk to the business owners out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
While Rob absolutely focuses in on my face and John puts stuff in front of it. I get friends in little places. Most people out there, most businesses out there have their, hosting with a company like GoDaddy or Blue Wave or whatever, okay? There's a million of them.
Gator hosting.
But I meant real hosting. Right. And then, look at that. 2 people just left.
Oops.
And we think, okay, I've got my own hosting account. I control the passwords on it. I only have my website on it. I'm secure. And that may be the case as a general rule. But if you are dealing in any kind of specialized, highly confidential data, okay, and I'll get around to good examples of that many of us don't think about, okay, that we should be, being careful with. You are not as safe as you think, because most of what you're getting out there, if you're paying, $10 a month or $29 a month or $100 a month even, okay, odds are 9 out of 10 that you are on what's called a shared hosting platform, meaning you are sharing a server with a bunch of other businesses just like you that are purchasing server space, okay, on a shared server. So you and 27 other businesses might be on this one server. And, I mean, you're all the same. You're all on there. You all have different IP addresses, but the fact is it's all driving back to this one server. So think of it as being one computer underneath the table that is actually running all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, but I've got my own hosting account, and it's partitioned, and, and I've got great security on my website. Totally irrelevant. Because, like everything else, the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And if one of the people out there has got no security protocols and they haven't updated anything on their website in 5 years, and, they've got all this just lax security, what happens is somebody can brute force attack their website. They log in as admin, because people actually use the name admin for their admin account, which you cannot make a bigger mistake right there. Okay, but they go in and then they still have the standard URL for a WordPress login. Another big mistake. You got to redirect that. But they'll come in, they'll set this stuff up. They're just newbies. They set it up. They leave it alone. They will brute force attack that. And they will come in, now they are admins. And the first thing they will do is, in order to bypass all the security protocols, is they actually upload a new theme to your website. The themes have a lot of executable files in them.
Right.
So they're able to sneak in as part of the theme. Once they have that in, they have that theme in, part of those executable files that they uploaded actually give them access to the entire root of the server. So now, through this 1 weak link, someone can now go in and look at everything you have in the back end of your website. They can access your databases of information. Now, it may be no big deal. You've got a WooCommerce store, and, so what? It's all 256-bit encrypted. Odds are they aren't going to be able to get it. Any of the people that actually saved their credit card information to your server. That's okay. But there's other things that run people into real problems. Many of you have heard of HIPAA. Okay, that is the medical privacy law. And you have to be able to keep the stuff secure. Now, if you've ever called up GoDaddy and said, hey, can you, I'm having trouble with my website, can you look at the back end? And they go and they go, oh, well, look, here's your problem. You have this, and you have da. Well, guess what? They have access to your back end data. So a regular GoDaddy, hosting account, shared hosting, is actually not HIPAA compliant. You have to have a dedicated server. So when you have the dedicated server, you call up GoDaddy and they go, I can't see anything. I'm sorry, I can't help you. Because they don't have access.
Right.
Unless you grant them specific access to your server. And then in order to do that with medical information, you have to make sure that they are a related person. Okay, and as such, they have signed all the proper authorization forms that allow them access to your medical data. Now, you can be a doctor's office that's doing nothing but putting an appointment scheduler online. Guess what? You need to have a dedicated server to do that. Because the fact that they are your patient is protected medical information. The fact that they have an appointment with you is protected medical information. If you ever call a doctor's office and you go, oh, by the way, my friend John said he comes to you. Is this the right office? They cannot answer that question. And so,
who's John?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can neither confirm nor deny that allegation. Okay, you cannot say yes, I know he's here, and your patient is abusing his medications. I know he's selling his pills. Really? Okay, I can take a name and report it. That's all I can do. You cannot confirm that that person is a patient at that doctor's office, regardless of what the person on the other end of the phone. And it's the same thing within your website. If you have any kind of email program that runs through there, if you have anything that's running out that door, you have to have a dedicated server so that you control 100% of the access to it. Otherwise, the fines are huge. I mean, you're talking $5,000, $10,000 per patient that you have on your website. Okay, so yeah, we're just going through a major upgrade on this with a client right now who had a shared server and was under the impression it was secure, and so that's why I bring it up right now because you can look at it and you can say, okay, I'm just a medium-sized company. I'm okay with a $60 thing. Okay, you are until you lose your website. Okay,
Well, yeah,
and it's not just about your clients or whatever it is that's on there. Okay, if you've got any kind of sizable website out there that's taken some work, you want to look at ponying up that $180 a month. Okay, for the proper kind of server that absolutely has you in 100% control of who has access to it.
Yeah,
that's important.
I've seen people on a shared server, and on that server, you have one or two websites that are just overwhelmed with traffic, and it affects all the other.
And that will happen as well. And a lot of times what they're overwhelmed with is because they were hacked.
Right. Okay,
and somebody's running a covert website on the back end, driving massive amounts of traffic to a fake sales page, and pocketing the money on the thing because they've hacked into the back end.
Funnel.
Yeah, really. And so, these are things that can happen when you have these kinds of security issues. It all sounds good. It all works well until it doesn't. And if you were ever on, server ID 22 at GoDaddy, you know how bad it can be. With response times, log times, you've got to get yourself off that server. It was hacked. It was a nightmare. And even if your site was not compromised, the amount of traffic being driven to that server was killing it. So yeah, it's something to seriously think about when you get big enough to go, okay, I'm real. And I need to take care of this myself. And it's not hard to do. I mean, we can get you set up. You'll never know the difference. But it is something you really need to think carefully about. Things run a little bit differently. Okay, if you're trying to clone your site or something, there's some different steps you got to go through.
Right.
Not all server. I mean, if you're looking for Installatron in your cpanel, it's not going to be there.
Oh, some have.
Okay. So yeah, you got to figure out how to install it and get that set up. So it's not that hard once you pay $5 for an annual subscription. It's a $5 fix.
$5.
Okay, and so what's $5 a year? Okay.
$5 foot. No, I'm sorry.
Maze. Sorry. And so,
Maze. Yeah.
yeah, so there you have it. That's the thing. I know that wasn't very marketing oriented, but I'm really wanting to
actually, that's better.
talk to
Yeah.
the business owners out there about how they're using their sites, and the whole site security thing is becoming more and more important. Now, and of course, I'm not talking about buying your own server and keeping it on in-house, because that's something else entirely. That's having something. You then have to have the power up all the time. You have to have the internet up all the time, and your website's only as good as your server connection to your.
That is correct.
And so that's why we pay massive amounts of money every month for what you're seeing here. To keep this thing running, and it's just so it'll stay running. But if you have a 100% guaranteed uptime, like with GoDaddy.
Yep.
So, that's not too bad. Most of your shared hosting's only 99.7, but they actually have a 100% guaranteed, or you start getting paid back for the money you were supposed to be paying for the month. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, so Adam, I kind of stepped on your segment, but we're gonna jump to the other one you put in there. Bad software sent postal workers to jail.
Oh, this is horrifying.
Yeah,
Horrifying.
over in the UK.
What?
So yeah, a lot of postal workers, the software that they use is showing tens of thousands of dollars shortages on in their either petty cash or however their systems work.
Yep.
And the employees will be
not just fired,
and not only fired but also thrown in jail,
prosecuted and jailed
on charges.
Yes.
And it's funny is nobody wanted to admit the fact that the software was wrong.
That was the problem.
Yeah. And this is crazy.
So you mean the employees took the fall?
Yeah.
The employees were taking.
No, it wasn't they were taking the fall. They were taking the brunt. They took the hit.
Oh, so upper management didn't want to say, "Oh yeah, by the way, our system sucks."
No. It's they thought it was working okay. They thought it was fine. They didn't realize they were prosecuting and jailing people for software errors. But until later on, if you read down through, the legal counsel actually knew before they went to prosecution on some of the cases that there were problems with it.
What?
But they're like, wow, we've done all this so far. We can't admit guilt. We've already put 20 people in jail. Let's just go ahead and keep jailing people so that we look good. Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yes.
You Brits are crazy.
You're talking,
man.
this is horrifying. I mean, they got 59 people that have, been wrongfully prosecuted.
Oh, and
people,
39.
oh, well.
Oh, no, 39 have been overturned.
Overturned so far, yeah.
But 736 of them have been caught up in this software since 2000 to 2014.
These postal workers, in order to save their names, went out and took out mortgages on their houses in order to pay back the money they didn't owe. Okay, just to stay out of jail. Okay, they went and mortgaged their houses.
And it's
my God!
Did they never run some kind of an accounting every year on their postal system to verify, where if they were really?
Yeah, it was the same system.
Oh, well, great. Yeah,
there was no
verified
back
against
check.
the broken system.
Yeah, basically the foxes were in charge of the hen house.
Oh, perfect.
And that's what happens when you've got single source data like this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, I don't know, maybe like having one company running all of your election software. Okay, that could just be a real problem when you think about it. And it's the same thing here. You're looking at 700 cases of people losing their jobs, of people being fired, of people, going to jail, of people getting criminal records and unable to get new jobs for years. This has been going on for years.
All right, so so over there, do they have the right to sue for?
Oh, they've already been, yes, and they are, and
I know their systems work a little different than ours.
Yeah, no, they're already being compensated across the board. But a lot of these people are like, excuse me, I spent 2 years in jail. How are you going to compensate me for the 2 years I lost?
Yeah, I lost my job.
And then I come out and I'm an ex-con.
Well, that has to be expunged.
Well, yeah, but it didn't stop them for the 5 years they couldn't get a job.
True.
And we're talking from 2000.
Yeah. You're talking
2000.
2 decades of problems here caused by this. It is just horrifying.
And just think of families that, the parent that went into jail or something, he passed away, and now families are coming to grips with finding out that this was all
wrong.
Never happened. Yeah.
I mean, we get that here with DNA testing, that finally exonerates people who were wrongfully sent to jail. But this has just been, I'm reading this and I'm halfway between, ready to throw a hammer and just crying at what these people lost. And, again, you've got to keep duplicate records. I was involved with one company that was sending samples off to labs, and they were getting paid for it. And I asked them, I said, okay, so how do you know, what? Well, they sent us a report.
Really?
So wait a minute. Yeah. How do you know what was sent in? Because, we don't actually keep a log of that. We just send it all. I'm like, hang tight. And so we built a system for them to actually track the samples that they were sending in. And lo and behold, suddenly they got about a 20% increase in income.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they weren't tracking both ends. You've got to have an independent tracking system for almost anything you're doing. So, yeah.
That is nuts. Well, I hope they get it. I hope everybody gets what they deserve.
Including the lawyer who knew that it was bad.
Well, that's what I mean.
I know what he deserves.
I know there's bad deserve and good deserve on this.
Absolutely.
So
there's a lot of karma involved here.
So,
Caramel?
Caramel. Yes.
Exactly. So, Windows 10 update that has been trashing FrameMix has been fixed. How is this? Okay. This is like some of the most stupidest things. Just imagine, you're some young kid, you just got done getting your either new gaming computer, built it all up,
or
you're excited to get on Twitch,
and you're getting on there, and you're like, your system's not performing, or it's doing this random blue screen that you can't figure out, and you didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault. It's just the operating system that you installed. Crazy. And what's funny is in the article too that even some of the developers over at NVIDIA was telling clients to roll back
their updates, which was I'm like, yeah, okay, so I belong to the software that we use to run on all of our shows is vMix, right? And they are a proud sponsor, and we are very grateful for vMix because they are a sponsor of Weeby TV, right? They actually give us the biggest, baddest lifetime update software to get a hold of. And everybody online in these the vMix forums, we call it, or we're complaining about, I'm getting these blue screens, I'm getting a freeze, I've got jitter, I got stuff that's going on, and it's all because of Windows.
Yeah.
And they put out this bad update, and now it's been fixed. But
that's crazy.
And
Windows would never do that. I don't even know why you're saying this.
I know that would never. They would never do that.
Come on, it was only a month ago we had the printer fiasco.
Oh,
so
if I hear, my phone drives me insane still with the Nokia printer thing. It's just stupid. I can't run anything Google on my phone at all. It comes up. Oh. And now it's affecting my own website stuff, like my own emails from my website, which it never affected. Now it's affecting that.
Unbelievable.
It's like, it's stupid. Good old Windows. Yay. But anyway, it's been fixed, which is good, right?
So make sure you're updating your software if you want a computer that's stable. And if you don't want a computer that's stable, update your software.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess a gamer's going to have to go over to the Linux operating system if they want a stable system.
So we're going to finally talk something about my world. I know.
Okay.
It's all my world, but it is what it is.
We're all just figments of John's
people,
imagination.
Exactly. They're really not here. I'm just doing this. There's really no cameras. I'm just talking to myself, and I'm in a padded room. It's all good. I'm looking around. Yes, you can change your YouTube channel name, but not your account name.
Yeah,
I've
your
had
Google,
this.
Yeah, your Google account name.
I've had a ton of people go, I want to just change that. I'm like, yeah, you can change that. And they're like, well, you can't. I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, well, I have to go to my Google account and change it there. I said, no, your channel is separate from your Google account. I mean, it's the same, but it's separate, right? And you can do that. It's very, very simple. I'm going to, to change your YouTube channel name and profile picture on mobile. This is on here, right? All you do is you go to your tap your channel, you edit channel, and then you change the name and update and tap OK, and you're done. That very simple, right? But if you're going to go to your desktop, you sign into YouTube Studio, you change your name from the left menu, select customization, basic info, click the edit, and update your channel, and then you hit publish. But here's the thing, right? If you have a verified YouTube channel,
Right.
you have to resubmit to YouTube to get re-verified. And that sometimes that's where the pain in the rear end becomes.
It's ironic that the main account that controls that YouTube channel makes the edits that have to be re-verified by Google, even though it is already verified, and the account that changed it, made the edits, is obviously the same account and verified. I think it's just a ploy.
But it can be done, and that's that. Okay, so the reason I did that is because that's the question that everybody's. I've had.
You've gotten a few of those.
7 emails this week or last week along. Son, I can't change my YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, you can. Well, no, I have to go change my Google account. I'm like, no, you don't have to.
And sometimes it's better to just leave well enough alone, because now they might come in with a whole bunch of extra new rules. Well, we're sorry, your channel might have been verified before, but there's something wrong with it
Right,
now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just because you changed the name, now all this other stuff is wrong.
Oh, by the way, I got to put that little piece of code in the bottom of your website and blah, blah, blah. So
By the
that
way,
we
you need to
know it's
reference us
verified.
every single time.
Every single time. It's crazy.
And just for the record, John just gave you instructions on how to do that. So if it is your intention to do that, go do it today, because tomorrow the dashboard will be different, I promise.
That's great. That's great. And the rules will change.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, so you know how we keep telling everybody, get a VPN?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so I found this, and it's from Wired. Okay, and here's another. I'm going to answer a question. This is a private message that I got last week. And the guy, it's a very simple question. Where do you get the topics you talk about?
Yeah.
Right? So we scour every Saturday and Sunday, or actually typically for me it's Sunday night. And I'll go through Facebook news, Twitter news, Yahoo News, Wired, Verge, and picked out what I want to see, and that's where we get our stuff.
That's where some of it comes from.
Yeah. Now, believe it or not, as much as I hate Facebook, if you go to Facebook News and go in Science Technology, there's some great stuff in there.
Yep.
And just make sure you do all of this while sitting on the toilet.
That's correct. Don't waste time.
Don't waste time.
No, one of the other
Multitasking
things,
is awesome.
I mean, all of us, okay, including, Rob in the back and everybody, if we see anything through the week,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, since the last episode, we automatically put it into the group chat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, if we see anything or, it just crosses our news feed, we will grab it and use it.
And sometimes things happen throughout the week that we are presented with problems.
Yeah.
In our fields
Exactly.
that we bring
Which
to
is
everybody's
like,
attention.
Yeah, like what I just went through with
Correct.
the dedicated server. So
I felt
it's
bad
like,
for you the other day.
yeah, that was fun.
He's like, oh my God, this is driving. Here's the thing. We get into what we do, and sometimes we have to. And then I have found this every now and you just got to step out and go.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
just
mean,
happened?
frequently that's what it is. Mine usually hits me at 3 a.m.
3
I'll wake
a.m.
up and it's like,
Oh,
that's how I
duh.
do it. What the hell was I thinking?
Yep.
And then
Right.
fortunately I do have, my study is basically attached to my bedroom, so I can just walk right through, sit down, and boom, I can just work and then go
Right.
back to bed.
Yep.
Make sure it works.
So anyway, so VPNs, we've been telling you guys,
Yep.
if you're going to go somewhere, use a VPN, right? But the problem is VPNs are vulnerable too, right? So this came from Wired. It says VPN hacks are a slow motion disaster. And I understand what they're saying, right? Because of the whole solar winds and the China's blitz and the chain meltdown and, all this kind of stuff, that VPNs now are becoming more vulnerable than they have in the past.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think they're becoming more vulnerable. I think it's just more people are using them and, are not understanding what a VPN is. They just hear the word VPN and they see this, dollar sign and they go buy it. And it's
a button on your phone now.
Yeah.
It
is.
is.
A button on a phone
Yeah.
or, it's a free service that your cable company gives you, or,
So
it comes
gobbling the bandwidth.
Well, not just that. It's most like new computers. I see it all the time. New computers coming in. OEMs already pre-installing VPN services from third-party companies onto the computers, and the customers are either signing in with it. Your antivirus programs, 9 times out of 10, come with some kind of a VPN software when you purchase, the antivirus from them, because they just love that key word, that word, just VPN, and people just jump to it.
Yeah, no one does any research on what VPN to use, right? Like now, look, I don't. This is my opinion. I do not like Norton, and I do not like McAfee.
You mean Edward Norton? No, sorry.
Funny. I personally don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
I've had computers that came installed free 1 year, blah, blah, blah.
They are malware.
And it just tore my computers up. Yeah. So what I do is I love Avast. Mm-hmm. It literally, that software has saved my rear end so many freaking times. But Avast has an issue with our streamers because our streamers can't be. It does not like dropping that firewall, and our streamers cannot have firewalls. They can't. Yep. You got the ports got to be wide open. So we actually found a different one back there, and I don't know what the name of it is off the back in the back. Maybe Rob can look at it and tell me, but something green, and it works tremendously well. It's not super expensive. I think I got a license for 3 computers for like $99 a year or something like that. Mm-hmm. But it allows the firewall to be open and still protects me, which is killer. But they all come with VPNs. Like Avast has a VPN, Norton has a VPN, McAfee has a VPN. There is, there's like a million VPNs now. My phone when I updated to this 12, it came with its own VPN.
Mm-hmm.
VPN across the board.
I know. So, but you got to really pay attention to what you're buying.
So, what's the problem with them? What's going on?
Well, the rule of thumb is the bigger you make the haystack, the harder it is to find the needle.
Okay.
So if everybody uses a ton of VPNs, then they're less hackable. Well, that's not true. That's not true.
No, the more users are doing something, that they become the larger target.
Right.
And that's exactly what ends up happening. That's why, more Windows users for the longest time were always susceptible to viruses and malware, because they're used a larger user base.
Got
it. As Macs Macs became more prevalent, they mostly get browser hijacks, but again, same situation, It's really, the business world mostly uses PC. So, where are they going to get their money from?
Exactly.
Well, so we can get really super technical, right? VPNs need to typically rely on a set of protocols known as Internet Protocol Security, or IPsec. Mm-hmm. While IPsec-based VPNs are considered secure and reliable, they can also be complicated and clunky for users. So what happened is a lot of the users I can't get this to work right, and they get frustrated. They'll just take it off instead of trying to take your time and figure it out. So what they do is they dumb down the VPNs.
Yes.
And then the VPNs became more susceptible to hacks and cloning, and it's crazy because I hate to say this, but we got to stop dumbing down society. Okay, we need to be if the water is rising, you're not going to stand there and drown, right? You're going to rise to the level of the rise, correct? Mm-hmm. So you can breathe. Same thing with technology. You can't just go, well, it's stupid, I don't want to do it because it's too hard to use. No, you need to take the extra 5 or 10 minutes or an hour to learn what it is so you can keep up with it. Because the minute you don't keep up with it,
You know,
Well,
you're screwed.
That's like the biggest thing that I'm seeing in like computers. Okay,
Mhm.
they say computers they're selling great now because of everything going on. Okay, and there's a shortage of computer and technology
Chips, yep.
inside the stores, retail stores. So the computers that you're seeing, you know, the $499 range, $399 range, they are very low powered Intel Pentium processors, which are really based off the old Intel Atoms.
Right. The
Okay.
duo cores.
Well, not even.
Not even. Okay.
They're not even that fast. So these new, you know, Pentium Silver, Pentium Gold, you know, these things, they're not full-fledged computers. They're basic, very basic computers. They will just turn into a big pile of mush the minute you put an antivirus on them. That's how bad they are. All right, and a lot of times these computers are coming with like 128 gig solid state, or even less. Sometimes the HP streams only have 64 gigs of solid state hard drive space. So you have just enough room to put your operating system, and they want you to use their cloud-based storage to be able to.
It's a netbook.
Yeah, it's technically a netbook.
Yeah,
a netbook, right.
You know, so people are going out there, they're buying these, you know, and then they bring them in. They're like, oh, why is my computer running so slow? You know, there's nothing really wrong with your computer.
It's not really a computer.
You literally have to just take off the antivirus because it just cannot handle it. It's just too much.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and why does my computer have no storage? Well, this is why. And a lot of times you can't upgrade to storage on these devices. But you're paying the same amount of money that you would have paid for a couple years ago for a high-end, you know, Intel i5 system, you know.
Yeah.
That used to be the base price was $4,599. You get yourself a nice computer. Now $4,599. They look great, but they're not what you understand. You just see computer, you see the word Pentium. It's a play on words, and that's why they relabeled their chips the way they did.
They suckered you in.
You know,
and now that you said that, Cisco, the CEO from Cisco, says 6 more months
Of chip shortage.
Chip shortages.
Oh,
And that's
crazy.
And I mean, now that's just for the chips. Now, once they get the chips in, if in 6 months they have enough of them, then they have to get them into the building process.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be another, 2-4 months after that before it actually makes a difference in the retail field. So you're talking, you can forget about Christmas.
yeah. This
Okay. That's not going to be an
No,
option.
you know what? For Christmas, you can give each other like a basketball or a baseball.
What would you do with
we
that?
still can't get a new Xbox yet?
What would you do with that?
Go outside.
Out. There's nature out there, John.
I know,
There's nature out there.
I know. It's scary world out
There's
there.
bugs outside.
Go
There's
camping.
bugs inside.
There's
Jesus,
bugs in-
Florida.
Go camping.
There's bugs there too.
Yeah, I know.
Camping. Do they have
Go-
Wi-Fi?
No, the new word is called glamping.
Glamping,
John,
that's what we
glamping.
do.
Well, yeah.
Jeez.
That's the only way to
Actually,
do
my
it.
kids, both of my kids, for as old as they are, they're getting into camping,
That's good.
Good.
which is awesome. I mean, so yeah, you know what? So who cares if there's a chip shortage? Go outside, play, throw a ball to each other.
There'll be
It's
more
ridiculous.
technology here soon. Of
Why
course,
would we
of
do
course,
that?
all the chips are going to the stuff that's really needs it, like
Right.
space stations,
Essential services.
space
Essential
stations,
services.
essential services.
Trips to Mars so that
With
they
the
don't kill quite
trips
as many people.
Yeah.
More chips.
More chips, please.
Come on, Elon.
All right, so who didn't see this coming?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
Wow.
Apple's being sued, right, over their iPhone warranty issues and water resistant claims.
Yep.
You knew somebody was going to sue. Oh, I got my phone wet and
course they are.
it didn't work no more. Well, it's not waterproof. It's water resistant,
and you
that
have to
doesn't mean
look.
go diving in the swimming pool with it.
You know,
No.
and the funny thing is, though, in some of the, their shows, they do say, hey, it's water resistant up to X amount of feet,
Right.
but it's still resistant. But if it's resistant to the water and you get it out of the water and you open it up for a warranty claim and it got wet, you're not going to warranty it. So
Yeah.
you need to.
Yeah, the little red dot
Something-
appears.
something- yep.
Okay, if it's been wet. But it goes beyond that because you also have to look at how they test, and this is one of the big elements of the claim is that these things are tested like purified, denatured, non-ionized water,
Yep.
that
No
is
salt, no
ultra
chlorine,
pure,
right.
and it's water you will never, ever, ever encounter in the real world.
Doesn't mean you could spill a beer on it.
And I mean, you might as well be putting it in what was mineral oil
Yeah,
or whatever it
there you
is,
go.
okay, that is non-conductive, and as soon as it
Right.
dries out, it leaves no residue. The problem with real-world water is that it dries and it leaves a crust of
Yes.
something. And if that crust happens to have any kind of salt in it,
Oh,
your board is toast.
Yep.
And so it's not all water is created the same. And that's one of the biggest issues with their testing is all those claims are based on ultra pure water that doesn't actually exist in the real world.
Distilled.
only at Apple.
Only in
Only in the Apple.
Spaceship
well,
Apple.
Okay, so because I am a geek, in my house I have 2 gallons of distilled water.
Right.
So if my phone ever hits salt water, pool water, I spill a Coke on it or whatever, I go and I put it in a bath of distilled.
You turn it on first, right?
Yeah. Course.
No.
Of course I did.
Kids. God, that look on your face was perfect. You
Right.
punked me.
So I had it. So I'll dip it, and then and I have a thing of rice, and I put in. And actually, believe it or not, jasmine rice is better.
Okay.
I will just say that I see so much rice in people's computers and their phones. It's ridiculous.
I know, but jasmine rice seems to work the best, and it only takes an hour and a half.
It's usually a Mac. I'll take a Mac apart and there's rice in there. It's
You know,
most
the
hilarious thing.
real key on this thing is that you must never, ever, ever turn it. If you can take the battery out of any
Yeah.
device, do it. Okay, as soon as it gets wet, because
the
the
electric-
But
only
with your
thing
phones, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that with your phones. But don't turn it on. Don't even try. Okay, until it is 150% dry, because it is the turning. It's running the electricity through it while it is wet that causes the arcs and the shorts and burns it
Correct.
out. So as long as you let it dry out, and
You're
absolutely
good.
do not try to turn it on until you're like twice as sure as you thought you needed to be, then you can go ahead and give it a try, and you might have saved it.
Right.
But that's the best you're going to get.
Okay. So, if you've got a phone and you drop it, just keep a gallon of distilled water. It's 98 cents, and it doesn't go bad. Just leave it in your
And in
house
case of
somewhere.
hurricane, you can still drink it.
Well, yeah, it tastes funky, but you can still drink
And
it.
it doesn't leave any
can make
white
coffee
residue
with it.
in your coffee maker.
How
Yes,
about that?
that's a good point.
So that's what I would say doing.
Yep.
And I know Adam makes fun of the rice, but I use the jasmine rice because the jasmine rice.
Because it tastes better. when
does
you got
taste better.
And he loves the smell next to his.
I don't waste anything.
Stir-fried apple.
Right? Exactly. It has a little appley taste to it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So if you literally jump in the ocean with your phone, well, then you're
forget
a
about it.
moron. I'm just saying.
Well, it's
No,
sometimes
you're
you can
moron.
fall in.
Well,
okay, if you jump in
but these people
intentionally
are
and
jumping
your
in-
phone is in your
Right.
pocket,
No,
you're
they're-
thinking you're okay because it's water resistant. Well, first of all, that ain't water you're jumping into.
No.
Okay? You got to stop thinking of the ocean as water. You have to stop thinking of pools as water. They're not. They are vats of chemicals, some of which are highly corrosive, and that's what you're actually jumping into.
No, I know people that literally
Yeah.
will jump in they go on their boat. They'll go, I'll
Yeah.
just jump in with my iPhone, and they jumped in with their iPhone, and they only went down 15 feet, which technically 6 meters is 18 feet. You're okay, right? Technically.
Yeah.
But the minute they come up, if they don't wash it in distilled water and clean it out,
The salt
the
destroys
salt
it.
destroys it. It is
Yeah.
what it is. So
And it so
buy a
much of this
waterproof
comes around-
camera.
Sure.
GoPro.
Hold on a
Sugars are
minute.
the same.
I am going to go off on a tangent here,
Oh,
okay,
here we
on a
go.
rant,
On a
okay,
rant.
about the definition of words, because we're just talking about water here, and we're just talking about the fact that you're not actually putting the phone in water. You're putting it in salt. You're putting it in
was gonna
chlorine.
give you some
you're putting it
Higgs
in all
boson
these
time,
things.
but okay.
I'm iffy on the Higgs boson, but the fact is, there
Someone asked about this.
there
That's
was
why
a
I put it in.
massive explosion death at a factory because a guy walked into a room that had a big sign on it that said empty barrel storage. Okay? And they had like 255-gallon drums in there. They were all empty.
someone had their phone with them.
Except, no. He lit a cigarette.
Oh, well.
Okay?
Dumb.
Well, they were empty of the original liquid that came in them.
They're off-gassing.
But they were filled with the off-gassing, much more flammable naphtha gas, okay, that was originally in there. And because it said empty, the brain clicks on that there's no danger. And it's just like saying water, okay? And it's like, it is not water. They are not empty barrels. They are full of highly flammable gas. And so you've got to think about things in terms of what they are and not what you call them.
Right.
And there's my rant,
There's
and
your rant.
that's it.
Okay,
I'm now done.
Oh, look, someone's calling. So what's more explosive? A 1 gallon jug of gasoline that's been capped, or an open 1 gallon vat of gasoline?
Is there any gasoline in the second one?
Yeah, they're both full. They both have a gallon of gas in it, but
Yeah.
this one's open and has been vapored out, and this one's just locked up.
It'll be the locked up one.
That's right.
Absolutely.
It's not the gas itself is
Yeah,
flammable,
but
it's the fumes.
The
that come
off-gassing.
off
The
of
fumes are
that's-
what are easily combustible.
Yeah.
So
And so your empty gas can at home, take the damn cork out of it. Okay, do not leave it with the cork on, because that empty gas can is a bomb. All right, you can if you've ever had a puddle of gasoline, you throw a match on it, it goes out.
Right.
It doesn't light.
I've done it all the time.
Okay.
I've done it. I show my kids. I'm like, watch this, and I'll let a cup of gasoline sit there. I'll let it sit for like 4 or 5 minutes. And they're like, "That's going to explode." I said, "Let me watch." And I light it, threw it in there, and they're like,
What
"What
happened?
happened? Why didn't it
Yeah.
blow up?" I said, "Because it's flammable, but it's a higher flame point than
The flash point.
yeah." So then I took another one and took the rag off it and threw it right over the top of it and went.
Exactly.
And they're like, "Whoa!" And I'm like,
What a difference.
Science.
Yeah. So there we go. All right. What's the last subject?
Well,
John?
look, I had a guy goes, "You guys are so smart. You think you're so smart. Talk about the Higgs boson and blah 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 blah." So, the Higgs boson. You got the. I love this article I found. So to understand the Higgs boson, you really need to talk about the Higgs field first, which is there are 4 fundamental forces of nature, right?
Right.
Nuclear force, electromagnetism, gravity, and the fundamental force. Standard, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know anything about the Higgs boson, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, let me put it this way, okay? When you are
5
observing
seconds less.
a field, okay, or any data set, and you've got anomalous data, that means that you aren't tracking something.
That's correct.
Something is wrong, something is missing. And they were looking at, large amounts of data that kept coming back saying, you're missing something. And first of all, they had to extrapolate from the Higgs field that there would then be a particle, okay, and a boson is a kind of particle that, and Higgs is the guy who came up with the field design, so they call it Higgs boson. But really, it's just one of about 20 different microparticles that are screwing with everything we think we know about reality, because it isn't actually real.
Exactly. With that being
That's
said,
it, we're out of time.
Thanks for watching. With everybody next week. Bye-bye.
We got the plans 'cause we are the Tech Shamans. We understand 'cause we are the Tech Shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans.